Well, hello. Welcome back to another podcast. This is Makaija. And before we even begin and explore this little topic together, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you, your family members, your loved ones, your non-loved ones, the people you're having problems with, all of the people in your life, all the things in your life. Just want to wish them all a happy Thanksgiving. Now, if this is your first time with us, this is Mind is Matter, a podcast brought to you by the creator of Direct Sunlight Enterprises, Makaija Kisi. That's me. What we do here is simple. We just do our best to help you realize that what is in your mind, in your imagination, is more material than what you can see and feel with your physical abilities. So next week, we plan on actually having magical media on here, and I'm super stoked for that. This gentleman and I, we've been in contact for a while. He's got a great media channel. I just love him. The topic on that we're going to expose throughout the week, so keep a lookout for that on my IG, all right? And then another quick announcement. By February 2024, all platforms will be included with the podcast. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, you name the streamline, you can find Mind is Matter on it as of February of 2024. So we're super stoked for that as well. But for this week, however, as we all know, this is the week most people choose to be thankful for the things in their life, right? And typically a lot of like really nice things, really good things, they start happening this time of year, don't they? People are nicer, kinder, more giving, more open to listening, more open to being heard, more welcoming in their mindsets, more excitement in their hearts. People find more joy on their faces, more laughter in their mouths. People are more giving to people who are out on the streets. And I'm not going to call them homeless or less fortunate, because in reality, they are neither. But it's just like every other cliche person out there is going to ask you, why only during this time of year did you agree to partake in a festival called Thanksgiving? Have you come up with an answer? If not, that's actually really normal. Why do I say this? Well, because when you were a kid, or even maybe when you just moved to the United States, if you're someone who had migrated over here from a separate country, you were told that this is a week, this is a time to give thanks. Right? And it's typically tied in with some sort of colonialism when we're talking about the United States. They may have other reasons, but the answer to the question I asked you, if you didn't know an answer or have an answer, why did you agree to partake in a festival called Thanksgiving? That's okay. It just simply means that you're doing what you were told. It's exactly what it means. You're just doing what you're told. And that's an okay answer to have. You know why? Because once you know that, you can choose if you still want to do what you're told. Now, Thanksgiving is truly one of my favorite holidays. The whole 6 weeks of holiday time, from Thanksgiving all the way through New Year's, this is one of my favorite times of year as well. Right? But what if you were told as a child that not just the 6 weeks at the end of the year are times for festivities and family and things like that, but what if you were told that every single day is Thanksgiving? How would you act then? Right? What I mentioned before about people being nicer, kinder, more giving, welcoming, more loving, more helpful, treating people just differently. You walk into a grocery store anytime during the holidays, Don't you hear the Christmas music, and doesn't it uplift people around you? You can tell people are having a good time, right? Because they're shopping. They know that they're going to get some gifts this year. They know they'll see their best cousin that they haven't seen in a while, right? I truly do love this time, okay? But what if you were told as a child, or when you got over here to America, instead of Thanksgiving being one day of the year, classifying as 1 week because people take weeks off now, what if you were told every day is Thanksgiving? How would you act? How would you act? What would you see? Who would you be? Now, I find it interesting because I fell into this trap too. Why do I call it a trap? Anything you're not free from, you're a slave to. Simple as that. And that's why knowing because someone told me to do it, that helps you to break free from it. Someone told me. Well, now that that's a manifestation in your mind that you know someone told me to do this, I have the choice to either just celebrate Thanksgiving one time a year or celebrate it every day of the year. That's a choice. Now, some of you guys may have listened to the podcast that I had done. It was a bonus week podcast. And the bonus week podcast, bonus midweek podcast, the cool thing about it is it's exactly what I'm talking about right now. I put it out maybe a month and a half ago. So if you want to go back 6 episodes or 7, you should find it. But in that episode, I mentioned this is a cure for any depression. It's a cure for any unhealthiness. It's a cure for any bad habits. It's a cure for any negative emotions. Is thanks and praise. Thanks and praise. Thanks and praise. Who remembers that? Put your hand up if you remember that episode. Right? What did I say to do? Find a place. If you're down and out, go just start being thankful. Just start thanking the Creator, thanking the air you breathe, thanking your body, thanking your mind. Thank all the things that are going wrong. Thank them, thank them, thank them, thank them, thank them. They are working for you when you put it in your mind that they're working for you. Otherwise, whatever you think is working against you, because you think it's working against you, is working against you. So I call it a trap because what we're not free from, we're a slave. If you're not free from one point in time on the calendar, then you're a slave to that one point in time in the calendar. You get it? If you're not free from only Thanksgiving is the one day I should give the most thanks, if you're not free from that, you're a slave to it. And we don't like that word slave, especially folks who have copper color skin, right? But I'm using that word purposefully because that's the truth. And quite frankly, I'm done being a slave to traditions. I'm done being a slave to bad habits. I'm done being a slave to human emotions, negative emotions specifically. I'm done being a slave to the mind's thoughts. Dog dropped her bone. I should write a book called Dog Dropped Her Bone because this girl, she's going to drop it any second now. She's going to, okay, no, she's good. Good girl, mama. That's Onyx, a little pug dog. If you guys like pugs. But I'm done being a slave to those things. Are you done? Are you done yet? You done being a slave to your job? Done being a slave to your mindset about money and how it has to come to you? Having that in mind, I guess the question might end up being, how do we break free from the things that we no longer want to be a slave to in our lives? And this is in order to have more of what we do want. Have you ever heard the cliche, what we are not changing, we are choosing? That's exactly how this works. You can't change something, though, until you know that it's there to be changed. But many people pay close attention to this. This is where you might find the most gems. I don't know. But many people mistake the change for something to be changed outside of them. Did you catch that? Many people mistake any change that needs to be made for something to be changed outwardly. Meaning, when I say make a change, your mind may automatically think a material thing to be changed. I have to change jobs. I have to change cars. I have to change boyfriends, girlfriends. I have to change attitudes of other people. I have to change. How do I do that? Well, we're not talking about changing outside things. The things that we don't want and actively don't want, we're choosing. So the change that must take place within the mind of the one who wants to make the change. That change has to take place in the mind. If you want someone, for example, to be like grateful for the things you've done for them, and they're, not showing gratitude or appreciation, somewhere in your life, you are lacking that same gratitude. See what I said? She dropped it again. Somewhere in your life, you are lacking that same exact gratitude. Meaning you're not giving that gratitude to something. What is it? That's what needs to change. It's not changing the person to do more for them so they could be grateful for the things you're doing. It's to change yourself. It's to change your mentality behind it. It's to change the fact that you might think someone isn't grateful for something because they don't express it in the same manner as you. But they can be grateful in other ways. You don't like your car or your job. Well, if you're actively thinking and feeling, I hate this job or I can't stand this car, all that's actually heard by your subconscious mind is I feel something toward this job or this car. And because I'm feeling that now, I want more of it later. Keep on giving me more. Keep giving me more. Our emotions and our mind, they work in tandem together. They are not separate things, although we have to, for simplicity and understanding, separate them. But when you have a thought of let's think of your first dog ever dying, or your very favorite little hamster. I had hamsters when I was a kid. I lost every single one of them. They all died, right? Think back to that time and how you felt. So you probably started feeling the pain of that just as I mentioned it, right? Because your mind registered my dead dog, then your feelings got involved and said, I'm sad about my dead dog. They work together, especially for the untrained mind, the untrained EQ or emotional intelligence. Is what I'm saying making sense? You guys taking me seriously here? I really hope so. Because I feel, again, the reason this is called Mind is Matter is because we're doing our best to help you realize that what's in your mind, what's in your imagination is more matter than what you can see and feel with the physical senses. Your imagination is the power. Now, I'm going to dip a little into a conspiracy here, quote unquote conspiracy, because 95% of these conspiracies I was talking about and other people similar minded, they are true. They actually came true. My thing is just thinking, why would we not have an emphasis on how to train our imaginations? Can anyone guess why? Why would we not learn this in school or college or at our job to train the imagination? Because as long as the corporations, we'll keep it simple, as long as the corporations can convince you that everything that's happening outside of you is the real world, your power is gone. If you think outside of you is where the action is happening, you have zero power. At all. None. Yeah. You see why I think that they keep us in this rat race material world? They even convince you that money is a material thing. Money is not material. Money is all idea. Money is all imagination. And imagination works for Rockefeller just as much as it works for you. I heard that from Reverend Ike. I love that line. You want to be rich? Convince yourself you're rich. Now. You want to be healthy? Convince yourself you're healthy. Now. You want to be happy? Convince yourself you're happy. Now. How do we do that? Because it's not as easy as like, oh, I'm sitting in this place that I don't like and let me just convince myself. It's just because you haven't activated that portion of your body, your mind yet. Your imagination just runs wild. And you're trying to catch up with it instead of being the director of it, instead of being the driver of that thug thizzle. Our imaginations create reality. That's what it is. That's why mind is matter. Because it's not what happens outside of us, it's what happens within us. So giving thanks for being happy and healthy, giving thanks for being rich, giving thanks for having appreciation in your life, giving thanks for a good body, giving thanks for wealth, giving thanks for these things. That's where our power lies. And that's where we convince this mind of ours, this imagination of ours, that what we're thanking it for is already done. So this has been a short introduction to the Thanksgiving series. I will make another episode probably in 2 weeks similar to this topic. But as you've noticed, since I have such a short amount of time, I do my best to squeeze in so much stuff. I trust that this has met you in a place in your heart where you're open and willing to be honest with yourself about what you might be a slave to, about things that you've been told to do or think that you haven't really agreed to. You just took as truth and lived in it, about the behaviors that you're not so proud of. If you're a rude person, start saying thank you that I'm so giving. Thank you that I'm so loving. Thank you that I'm so understanding. Who are you thanking? You're thanking the Creator, and you're thanking your own self for even putting that effort in. And remember, what's the name of the Creator? Anybody here? I made a podcast on it. What's the name of our Creator? In English. I am. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. And I cannot wait to hear from you and your feedback on this one. Everyone enjoy yourselves. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for coming in. This has been Mind is Matter. Makaija Kizi. Love you all.